This is a piece of sound foam, and this is, well, also a piece of sound foam. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about the differences in these two and why a lot of people, including myself, are now choosing to buy this and get rid of this stuff. And by the end of this video, I'm going to give you a ranked score on which one of these two is best for you. Who knows, maybe one of these will be better for you than the other. If you have ever been into a music studio in your life, you will have seen this egg carton style sound foam basically on every single wall, every single surface, everywhere. There's a reason for it. It works really well. And if you watch TikTok, like most people do nowadays who have short attention spans, you're gonna see a lot of people who have music studios or just generally like to record and have good sound using stuff that looks a little bit more like this. So what's the difference between these two things? Let's start off with the first and most important thing, which is understanding what sound foam does. The first thing I see people making a mistake with this is they think it's soundproofing. It's not. To soundproof something takes layers and layers and layers of foam, insulation, a bunch of other materials. Soundproof something, meaning no sound gets in, no sound gets out, is extremely expensive and a very laborious and difficult process to do. Nay, nay, nay. These two products are built to do one thing, to minimize what we call reflections. If you're like me and also mentally unstable, you can imagine yourself stuck in a box and screaming. Well, what's gonna happen when you're in that box and screaming? Let's imagine the walls in this box are made out of stone. If you scream at a wall of polished stone, that sound is just gonna go twing and bounce off. So what sound foam essentially does is we layer it on that wall, basically have it absorb that sound and not bounce back. So to actually use sound foam, you don't necessarily need to cover every single surface. You can do a little bit more research on the actual sound engineering side of that and how to most effectively use sound foam, but that's essentially what sound foam does. I would highly recommend having it in your studio if you don't already, because it's just gonna make the general sound quality you get a lot better, because you're not gonna have those little minimal reflections, which are gonna cause delays and reverbs and all kinds of things, which you don't want in your microphone. Let's talk about the classic, the egg carton style. Obviously, it's made out of a thicker foam. The actual ability for it to absorb sound, even if you get close to it, is a lot better. You can hear, I'm using a really nice Neumann microphone. You can hear the sound of my voice changes a lot, obviously. I mean, like anything, but it absorbs a lot more. So this stuff in mass works excellently. It doesn't look so good though. Now, this on the other hand is also sound foam, but it's not as soft and squishy as the other one is. Does it absorb as much sound? Well, it absorbs a decent amount, actually. It does a really good job. The key with these ones is that they're built to be aesthetic as well as functional, right? You put them on the walls, they look good, and they still absorb a decent amount of sound. They're just like acoustic panels. If you're in a school and you've had one of those grid ceilings, they have acoustic panels that basically sit on top to help minimize reflections, because almost every classroom floor ever is like polished, and it's just letting children screaming fly everywhere in the room. But these ones in mass actually do a pretty good job. I would say they don't work as effectively as these for complete noise dampening, but they still do a pretty good job. These ones are almost always square. They come in squares, they can be built in squares. It doesn't really give you much room for creativity. You can see behind me that using these hexagonal style ones gives you a lot more room for creativity. There's all kinds of different websites that sell these that are sustainably sourced too, and you can do all kinds of different patterns and different things to make your room look really good, give it a really cool vibe and aesthetic, and also have it have function to it, which is one of the reasons I have switched over to using these, because I can actually cover a lot of my wall in my apartment with it. It looks good, and it actually is still going to be helping me a lot with the sound quality in here. If you are interested in either of these products, check out the links below. I'm gonna have Amazon links to both of these on there that you can check out. Now it's time to join the nitty-gritty committee, because I'm gonna give these products the Skye Score. That's right, baby, the Skye Score. It's the first time I've ever done this. I just made that up the other day. Hope you like it. So our first product, the egg carton style sound foam. In the first category of ranking, we're looking at looks and aesthetics. Out of 10, I give this a 5. Pretty generic, pretty boring. So the only appeal and aesthetics that I can find in these things is basically if you have your wall covered in them and somebody comes over or sees a photo of you standing next to it, they're gonna say, hey, that person does music, or that person records, just because you know what it looks like, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's aesthetically pleasing. So it gets half the score for that. For our second category of ranking, we have durability and longevity. Now, these are made of foam, nothing crazy. Only way to mount these on the wall is either to put nails, tacks, something like that, or I use double-sided tape, and when I took the tape off, well, it just kind of began to rip apart. Not a super durable product, I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. The next category is feel, comfort, and usability. Texture-wise, I like it. I think they're really nice. I think they feel a lot better than the other sound foam. They're squishy, they're soft, you can always lay your head against them. So I'm giving these things a 7 out of 10. Now, one of the most important categories now is how well does it do what it's supposed to do? Well, this is supposed to absorb sound. It's not supposed to soundproof, it's supposed to absorb sound reflections and help to cure your room, essentially. Sound cure is the word we usually use. How well does it do that? I'd say pretty darn well. I'd give this a 9 out of 10 on that category. It absorbs sound super well. You do need a lot of them, not to fill every wall, but you need enough to be able to do it. So it gets a 9 out of 10. It does a very good job at what it's supposed to do. Final category for this product is value for your money. I've given this a 7.5 out of that. So 30 bucks gets you a pack of 12 of these things, and being that they are 12 inches by 12 inches or a square foot, you basically end up with a total of 12 square feet of space you can cover for 30 bucks. So it's a decent value. Most sound foam like that is priced in a similar range. So all those together come in at a total of 34.5 for the Skye Score on the egg carton style sound foam. Now let's talk about the hexagonal sound foam. So for the first category, looks and aesthetics, I'm giving this thing a 9 out of 10. It looks really good. These ones that are linked below are reasonably priced, and you can get them in basically any color you want. You're not limited to just black or gray, or sometimes these come in blue or red, but very stark, very minimal colors versus a ton of options. There's also a website called Feltright that they're a bit more expensive, but they're super sustainably sourced, and that you can buy pre-made patterns in any way you want from them. Fantastic company. They reached out to me individually on TikTok at one point too. Super nice people. Definitely would recommend. I'm leaving a link to them below as well. But definitely 9 out of 10 on these products. They're great. Durability and longevity of these things. I'm gonna give them an 8 out of 10 on that one as well. They're sturdy, they're solid, they're very durable compared to these. And in terms of the usability part of that score as well, they're super easy to use because they literally are peel and stick. The backside is sticky, so you literally just peel it off, stick it to the wall. These you have to either buy tape or nail or something, and they're a bit more destructive. These are also drywall and paint safe too, so you can stick them to the wall, peel them off, and you'll be fine. That's why it gets a 9 out of 10. Now, how well does it do what it's supposed to do? That's the next category. Gonna give it a 7. Doesn't absorb sound as well as the egg carton style does, but it definitely still works as sound foam pretty well. There's definitely a difference in a thinner material and its ability to actually absorb sound than this kind of thicker material that has a little bit more of a stopping ground and has this more springy ability to kind of absorb sound than this does. This definitely doesn't reflect sound at all, but this is a little bit more absorptive. If you don't believe that's actually a word, it's actually a word. It's a bit more absorptive than this is. So yeah, I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10. It works well as sound foam. I still like it, and again, at the end of the day, if you want to burn a little bit more cash, you can get a little bit more of this too, and you're gonna end up being able to still cover a lot of ground with this and still get basically the same effect if you want. Value for your money on this one, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. So 28 bucks on Amazon's gonna get you a pack of 18 of these things. Now 18 is gonna end up covering more ground than the egg carton style, and you're also going to have the ability to kind of mix and match these and create more patterns like that, versus with this, you're kind of locked into squares, which is a little bit less creative and doesn't give you that kind of creative liberty that we kind of crave nowadays, you know, and you have all the different colors you can pick and mix and match, unlike that. So you also get a little bit more bang for your buck. If you are a little bit more well off and you want to drop a little bit more money, again, check out Feltright. They're really good people. They aren't sponsoring me to say this or anything, but I think it's well deserved. These are also sustainably sourced, so is Feltright. So it's not just foam that's gonna just go in the garbage and sit in a landfill. It's actually made from, I think it was from recycled bottles that this is made of as well, so you can feel good about yourself while having it on the wall. So to compare, the total Skye score for this is 41. The total Skye score for this is 38.5. So for me, the way I judge this, I say this wins. That's just me. You may have a different opinion, and that's my score. So at the end of the day, that's my advice. I would recommend buying the hexagons and mixing and matching, having more fun, having more creative freedom, and you can definitely get a lot more on your wall for a little bit less money. If you're going purely for just sound and trying to dampen sound completely, go with this. Both work great. This, at the end of the day, wins a little bit more on all the score categories. So I've been Rowan Skye. Check out my music below. You know where the subscribe button is. Follow me on socials if you want more tips, tricks, advice, and all kinds of other ridiculous dad jokes. But yeah, thanks for checking out the video today. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment if you want to see me review anything else in the future, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.
You're everything that I could dream of. There ain't a part that I don't love. And your sweet smile that just said